How's it going?
What's up? I'm Nate Walker from the band Lit.
I'm Ed Udhus from Zebrahead.
I've known the Lit guys for a long time, and when Al got sick, they asked me to fill in for some shows. I was good friends with all the guys, and so I started playing some shows with Lit while Al wasn't physically able to do it. And then just since then, I've kind of been the go-to guy for that band, and have just stuck with Lit ever since. But Al was a Vater guy as well. He put the same size stick as I do, so it just kind of worked out.
I still am amazed. A lot of guys play the Power 5As, and to me, they feel a little lighter when you're going into them. But when I watch you play with those, you're not a big giant arms, and they're not the most heavy stick. But I can't believe how hard you hit the drums with those sticks. I'm pretty impressed.
Yeah, it took me forever to figure out the right stick that I wanted.
Why'd you pick
sizes? Well, I settled on the 5A just because of the diameter of it, but needed something longer. At one point, I even played like a 7A just to try that because I was having so much trouble finding the correct stick. This was like years ago, just trying to figure out what was right.
Yeah.
And then I just started playing Vaters and got hooked up with them through some friends of ours, but just trying to figure out the right stick. Started buying Power 5As, and that just stuck. With the thickness of it and the length, it was perfect.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So that's your stick from now on. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I played the Power 5As forever, but it didn't seem like it had enough weight on the tip end for me. And most of the stuff I play is like accented quarter note crash stuff. And it kind of, the 3A seemed to work really good for that. For a long time I played the nylon tip because I used to do really percussive stuff on the bells. And the nylon tip seemed to work better for that. But I don't know, I got into the wood tips about 2 years ago, and I feel like they last a lot longer and they rock really hard. And it's my comfortable stick. I don't think I'll ever switch.
Yeah, Power 5A for sure. That's
3A.
my deal.
3A wood, y'all.
You like wood?
Yeah, I like wood. The sticks are made of wood, so I like them.
Yeah, that's right.
So, when did you start playing the drums, Nate?
I started playing when I was about 10 years old, and I did all the classes in middle school, high school, concert band, did some marching, all that stuff, and then had my own bands, growing up when I was a teenager, and then I started studying right out of high school with Mike Johnston.
I started teaching Nate about almost 10 years ago. I was 26, I had just come off the road and had decided to be a full-time teacher, and Nathan was one of my first students at Skips Music when I started teaching full-time. And the one thing that really kind of took me back about Nate was the fact that you could tell that he was into punk rock at the time. I mean, he loved all the punk rock bands of the time, Blink and Goldfinger and stuff, but he never asked me to teach him that stuff. He kind of took it on himself to learn that on his own, and he wanted me to make him a well-rounded drummer, and that was really cool because a lot of kids that I was teaching at that time that were into, either punk or metal, that's all they wanted to do. And Nate was like, I'll handle that. I want you to make me as well-rounded as possible. We worked on dynamics, we worked on different styles, world grooves, we worked on, swinging a feel, playing it straight. And I just remember as kind of the years went on that I was teaching him, he was one of the few guys that I thought, dude, if you ever want to go to LA and try to make it, I think you have a chance. And so I talked to his parents and everything, and it was really cool. It's just been a huge thing as an educator to see one of your students kind of make it in the industry. And I couldn't possibly be more proud of Nate,
And I just basically started with him for about a year and got all kind of everything figured out in a way as far as, how to hold the sticks correctly, all the rudiments, all that kind of stuff, and just went from there.
What was your, since you've been playing professionally, what's your favorite gig of all time?
Favorite gig was Grows Rock, which was a couple years ago.
I saw you guys there. It was a great gig.
Played, Zebrahead played that day as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, a lot of my favorite bands. But Grows Rock or anything in South America has been great.
Yeah, you've got to go down there quite a bit.
Yeah.
I think, for me, I started when I was about 12. First kit was an old Ludwig. I had a paper up so I could pay for it. No more pots and pans. And I took all the same thing, the classes and everything you do in private lessons forever. Nothing fancy. And then I never really studied under anybody. I just started playing in cover bands when I was like 17. That's kind of where I learned everything. But I couldn't believe, like, you get a 40-song set list and you play all these different bands. You can kind of try to steal a little bit of style from everybody. And then just been touring. That's kind of how I learned. Grows Rock was one of my favorite shows as well. That and that Polish Woodstock and Summer Sonic festivals and stuff.
You've done a lot of festivals.
Yeah, it's fun. We're lucky. Who's some of your big influences?
Bill Stevenson from
Definitely.
All Descendants.
Yeah.
He's probably my favorite drummer. But then, I like a lot of new guys. Derek Grant from Alkaline Trio. But, Abe Cunningham, Deftones. But John Bonham, of course.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, just rock guys.
I'm kind of into the Bonham thing too. I think he's probably my favorite drummer. But I was always a big fan of Stuart Copeland and Joe Perkins.
How is it touring over in Europe? You guys are always over in Europe and UK.
Yeah, we seem to be spending all of our time in the last few years overseas. We just decided about 5 years ago we wanted to concentrate on overseas markets. And not that touring America isn't good. We always had a plan to get back to it, but we've just been so busy with overseas stuff, we stuck it to it pretty hard. And I gotta be honest, been around America so many times now, probably 30, 40 times, that touring in Europe is still kind of fun and exciting. And 16 years into the band, it's kind of fun to have it be new and exciting. Kids are really receptive over there. We don't have festivals like that in America, like they have over in Europe and in Asia. Just all your favorite bands that you've loved since you were a kid playing on the same day, and you get to play with them and eat crazy food and drink good German beer, and it's awesome. So it's kind of hard to now that we have families and stuff, and we're so committed to touring over there in Asia that we don't have a lot of time to tour America anymore. So I think we'll be doing one here pretty quick.
And you're going to Australia for the first time?
Yeah, it's weird. All this time in the band, we've never been to Australia, and we're going to go do the Soundwave Festival this year. There's some big bands on it this year. I think Marilyn Manson, Slipknot. The list is gigantic. Soundwave 2012. You can probably look it up online, but it's pretty cool. Yeah, and a 2-week run headlining in Germany, and then just a lot of festival stuff over the summertime again. And a couple shows in America here and there. I've been pretty lucky and been able to play some really big shows in the last 10 years, A lot of the summers we'll play 50, 60,000 people. And it's still really fun, you love it, but this summer we did Woodstock, Poland. There's 450,000 kids in the crowd. And I don't get nervous anymore, and I went out and looked at that crowd before we played, and my stomach kind of did the butterflies, and my God, But I discovered something when I played in that show. You kind of feed off the crowd's energy, the invisible, vibe that's going on. And I'll never forget that show. That was probably one of the greatest experiences. That's up there with having a kid. It's just unbelievable. Play such a good, happy, fun vibe crowd, What about you?
Yeah, playing the big crowds are great. I'm always a sucker for South America and just the crazy kids out there. This is probably the craziest kids I've seen at a show. They just go absolutely nuts. Anywhere in Brazil, Argentina. Crazy kids, but they're awesome.
What's your craziest stage experience ever?
Just people throwing bottles at people on stage and people stopping the show and some fights and security, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's all pretty seamless, so every show goes fairly smooth for the most part.
Put that many kids in a room and someone's bound to do something silly, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you always have that one drunk person, I guess, but it doesn't get too crazy,
I've tripped out on how what I've been seeing like the last 2 years is when a crowd surfer comes off and then they walk the pit in front of the barrier to get out, with security. Mm-hmm. Everybody in the front row punches them in the face as they're walking by because it's like this unwritten rule that you got kicked in the head by the crowd surfer. So when he does the walk, you punch him in the face. And, being the drummer is different than all the other guys in the band. You're kind of sitting there, and if you're set after 6 weeks touring, you kind of zone out watching the crowd, seeing what's going on. And you see some of the most... It's like the perfect point to watch the whole entire show and see how everybody's doing, what kind of the vibe is. It's kind of like you're the guy watching it all. It's kind of cool back there.
Nate from the band Lit signing off. Check out litband.com and the Case Company, the Road Case Company, gomc.tv. Ed?
Ed from Zebrahead, zebrahead.com. You can find us on the interweb. Go to that there YouTube and type in Zebrahead. You'll find all kinds of goofy stuff. As Nate said, gomc.tv. We're friends because we both play kick-ass Vater sticks and we love them. Check out vater.com, right? And see if they got something cool for you, which I'm sure they do.
And play those and only those.
Yeah, play those and only those if you want good value and sticks that kick ass.